Alright, welcome to part 2 of our little Zeus tutorial. So in part 1, showed you how to create a basic template. Part 2, I'm just going to show you how some things work in Zeus. So we're going to press Y to pull up our Zeus mode here. Our little man is going to stay back here, our little player. And then we're free to go about the map. If our player dies, we're going to lose Zeus functionality, so it's important that you keep your little player away from the battle. Or if he has to be near the battle, there's some things that you can do, like hide him, make him invisible. You see here, hide Zeus. That way people can't shoot him, or you can make him invincible. There's another thing that you can do there. So if you get shot, you still won't die. But anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the two basic ways, at least that I set up missions. Sometimes I will create missions that are more scripted, more on the rails, more of a cinematic experience for our members. These are less dynamic, which means it's more like a movie. It's more like you're on a roller coaster ride. I'm going to set out very specific things to happen, and we're kind of going to follow a script. It's going to be like a play. It's going to be like a movie or TV show. Like, for example, in this first type of mission, I want our guys to go over here, and I'm going to have a bunch of scripts set up for artillery strikes and airstrikes and amphibious boat landings and all this stuff. And no matter what our guys do, all of that stuff is going to happen. And eventually, I'm going to throw so much stuff, so many bad guys, so many infantrymen, boats, artillery, airstrikes that they're going to be forced to retreat. There's nothing that's going to happen that is going to stop the show from running that way. I'm going to make sure it happens. And again, this kind of mission style is, again, because we have a specific story that we're trying to follow, or we want the guys to experience something in particular, or just have a cinematic experience. There's nothing wrong with the way of doing this, but it does deprive our players and leaders of some agency. So in order to keep kind of a balance mixed, sometimes I'll set up a second type of mission, which is utterly dynamic, which means that the mission will play out however the troops on the ground want it to play out. So the decisions that the leaders make are going to alter how the mission goes. It means that it could be successful, it could be a failure. It means that I could set up an objective for them that they never even find and that they never even take out. They kind of create their own objectives and missions. You give them you give them broad guidelines, and then they kind of execute as they see fit. So, I'm not going to tell them that they have to move up on top of this hill, and on top of this hill, if they went up here, then they'd be able to see the objective that I set up for them over here in the valley. Instead, I'll just set up the objective over here in the valley. I'll tell them, pick your own landing zone and search for bad guys. And so maybe they're going to land here, and instead of going on top of this hill, which I might think is, kind of like a logical thing to do, and if they got to the top of the hill, they'd be able to see the objective. But let's say that the leader doesn't choose to go on top of this hill. He doesn't know. He's going to play things out his own way. Let's say that he sees some contacts or patrol over there on that hill, and he's going to follow the trail and get up to these guys and see what he can see. And he's never even going to see the objective that I set up for him. Um, that's totally fine. I think that both of these things, both of these styles, more on the rails mission or a more dynamic mission, there's room for both of them, and you need to have a variety between the two to sort of shake things up and make it fun for the guys. Again, on the rails missions are less fun for the leaders because they have less freedom of action, freedom of decisions. If you're a leader on the ground, sometimes it's less fun to have someone tell you exactly what to do. Other times, there is room for that. Sometimes the leaders are in on it. Sometimes it's a really cool battle or situation that we want to recreate, and you can even tell the leader what's going to happen and make sure that he's in on it so that things go according to plan. Other times you want to just have a totally dynamic experience for the guys, and give them utter freedom to execute the mission as they see fit. So these are the two styles. So I'll show you the second style first, this more dynamic mission. Let's say that we want to we're conducting search and destroy operations in this area. So let's see. we're going to go up here to groups. We're going to go to empty. In this is, these are a couple pre-made compositions of like enemy bases and stuff that you can place down, so you don't have to do this completely manually. It's helpful. Sometimes if you don't have the time, or if you don't want to take the time to create your own custom stuff, it's just not going to be as good if you create your own custom stuff that fits the terrain and everything perfectly. But let's say I want to put down like a little FOB right here. Again, because I'm not going to take the time to make it look perfect. I'm just going to plop this down, and I'm going to alter it a little bit so it looks slightly more realistic than just paste on the side of a 45-degree incline. So now I've got a little fortification here. I'm going to go to groups, and I'm going to go to op4, and I'm going to go to Russian MVS. We're going to go infantry, and we're going to put down a little Russian infantry squad. Maybe we'll put out a fire team as well. We're going to tell these guys that they want to garrison this base, so we're going to go to modules. We're going to type in garrison. We're going to click garrison group. We're going to click on the AI. The radius, we're going to want to set it to 50 meters to make sure that they garrison this little base. We're going to hit fill evenly, and we're going to hit OK. Now these guys are just going to stand here in the base basically and just chill, just guard it. You know, you can move guys around as you want if you so desire. If we wanted them to be up in this watchtower facing out. Again, the same controls, holding down left alt and dragging with left mouse changes their elevation, shift changes the way that they face. So for this dynamic mission, I've placed down a little fob with some guys guarding it. Let's say I want to add an objective. I'm going to type in ammo cache, and let's put down like a crate of launchers here. Let's put down some ammunition, and let's put down a radio. Actually, instead, let's put down some intel for them. We're going to type in intel, and we're going to go to modules. We're going to hit create intel. We're going to want to put it in a place that they're going to be able to see, so let's put it up on this roof. We're going to create an object that is files documents, so the physical object that they're going to see, it's going to look like a pile of papers, basically. The action text, keep it as is. Pick up intel, action duration only takes 1 second. Delete object on completion, yes. We're going to name the title base location, and then we're going to give them some vague intel, like we require resupply at the base atop the hill at grid something. And so if we had planned this out ahead of time, I would find the location for the other base, and I would figure out its grid, and I would put it in there. And then I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to have to drag the files up with left alt, left click, and put it up here. Let's give them like a little table that we're going to put atop here to make it even more obvious for the men. So I searched table, and I'm going to place down a little table. Now I'm going to drag the intel, put it on the table. Let's say I want to make it even more clear if they're observing. I'm going to go back to Russia, MVS, infantry floral. I'm going to find an officer. I'm going to place down an officer here. And let's see, let's give him a little locked animation. So we're going to go to modules. We're going to go to AI behavior. We're going to go to ambient animation. We're going to click on him. We're going to select the type of animation. Let's do like lean on table. So it looks like he's poring over this information here. Additionally, I didn't show you this, but I want to. So we selected his type of animation, and then combat ready, you can have true or false. So if our guys start shooting at these people, and combat ready is set to true, he's going to leave his animation, get out his gun, and join the fight. If we set combat ready to false, no matter what happens, he's going to stay in this animation, and he will not, leave it and shoot people. And that is important for various situations that we'll talk about later. But all right, so we've got our like little fob set up here. We've got a fire team outside. To make it a little bit more dynamic and realistic, let's set up like a little patrol route. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold down left control and then I'm going to right click to give this little fire team waypoints and to tell them to create a continuous circle around here. After I've done creating waypoints, I'm going to hold down left control and alt and then right click. This means that they're going to continue this circle no matter what, unless they get into combat. Now, these guys are running around. Let's say I wanted them to be a little bit more chill and, like not sprinting around on their little patrol here. I can double click on this little Op4 infantry marker that's above the squad leader. I'm going to set their behavior to careless, and I'm going to force them to walk. So now they're going to stop sprinting, and they're going to go on like a little casual patrol route around our little fob here. It's going to be a little bit more realistic. Maybe these guys, don't think there's any bad guys in the area. They're just kind of chilling. They're not wasting their breath. They're walking around. This is pretty helpful. I like doing it. It seems to make the experience a little bit more enjoyable for the guys. Honestly, it's the tiny details that make or break a mission, I think. It's adding in more realistic AI behavior. It's adding up animations, kind of bringing the scenario to life. It's creating a fob that is actually contoured to this terrain. If you just plop down ugly, gross stuff like this, it shows. It really does. So if you're really going to create a mission, you're going to want to use, period accurate objects. You're going to want to, use sandbags that blend in with the terrain. You're going to want to create camouflage. You're going to want to set up defenses on this little ridge here because, why would you not be able to want to see over the ridge? You're going to want to put like a little outpost or mortar pit on top of this tiny little hill. You're going to want to set up patrols. You're going to want to set up guys with animations to make them really come to life. All right. Enough of ranting. So we've created our fob here. We've got a patrol. We've got some guys garrisoning it. We've got some ammunition that they can blow up if they want. We've got intelligence. So if the guys find this fob, they'll know that there's going to be a big old massive fortification atop this hill. So for the purposes of this, we'll just go to groups, empty, and we'll set up a little base up here. And we will plop down some bad guys. Again, to really just bring this place to life. We're going to place down a little helicopter here. We're going to place down some infantrymen.
Ожидаю ваших приказов. Ожидаю указаний. Жду приказов.
And we can garrison them, set up patrols, etc. But for the basis, or for the basis of this demonstration, we are setting up a little dynamic mission. So we've got our objectives set up. We've got our bad guys. We're going to put down some more patrols out here. This squad is going to patrol this road. And maybe in this little burnt out place over here, we're going to set up like a quick reaction force. So let's go to motorized. Oh, actually, we don't want this. This is vanilla stuff. Jesus, that's good. Alright, we'll just put down a singular BMP. Actually, we'll put down 2. And then we'll go back in here to infantry, select a squad. We're going to put the squad in the BMP. Alright, so we've got our little fob here. We've got a large base on top of the hill. We've got a little squad patrolling this road out here. And we've got a quick reaction force that is chilling up here on the hill just in case anything bad happens. So now we're going to want to set up our mission for the guys. We're going to tell them that Some of this can be done in the editor, by the way, to make it a little bit easier. Like you can draw large lines. We're going to tell them that our area of operation is with all these black dots. This is a very poor representation. You're going to want to make it look nicer. In the editor, I'll show you later how you can create these nice lines, colored lines, so that people can see that our area of operations are these 3 grid squares, or sorry, these 9 grid squares here, the 3 by 3. And we're going to tell them that there are some fortifications or there's some bases here, and they need to locate and destroy them. So we're going to tell them that it's somewhere within these 3 grid squares. We're not going to tell them exactly where the bases are. We're going to tell them that there is possible QRF nearby and that there are bad guys patrolling the area. And we're going to tell our leader that his objectives are to locate and raid the enemy bases and then extract. So now we have put down our objectives, and it is entirely up to the leaders to find and destroy and conduct this mission. So you're going to tell your leader all that information that I just said. He's going to locate an LZ. He's going to say, okay, I see a nice little clearing here on the beach. I want us to land kind of on the edge of the place, or I want us to land outside of the place so that we don't, bring a helicopter too close to the bad guys to alert them. He's going to land here, and then it's up to him to conduct the mission how he wants. He's going to have to set up his own waypoints, OPs, rally points, etc. to try to locate, find the enemy, and destroy them. And then things will unfold. So if he comes up here, or if he lands over here on this peninsula and he walks up to the hill, and he sees the large fortification over here, awesome. Now he can go over here and OP it and decide how he wants to attack it. If on his way up to this hill, he is spotted by like this patrol on the road, and these bad guys start shooting at our friendlies, Ukrainian army. If they're found out and combat starts happening, before they find their objectives, depending on how this firefight goes, you can have the AI react accordingly. If it's a prolonged firefight, or our guys are losing, or if it's really loud and in close proximity to the AI, you can make a judgment call and say, okay, these guys would have heard the gunshots, or they would have, this patrol would have radioed to these guys and let them know that there's a firefight going on, and say, hey, we need to send out another patrol. Let's say that our guys win, kill off this patrol, but the bad guys know that there are bad guys in the area. We can go over here to this patrol and put them on normal and put them on aware, or something like that. Or, we can send out a couple of these guys, put them on the perimeter, because now they're on watch. They know that there are bad guys nearby. Maybe they're going to come look for us. We want to be ready. Maybe the big base up on the hill can send out another squad to go hunt for them. Our guys are going to have to run away, or they're going to have to prepare an ambush, or they're going to have to fight, or something like that. If our guys attack this base, like let's say they attack the base over here, they start a big firefight. Well, our little QRF element, our quick reaction force, is set up on top of the hill. Logically, when the enemy's attacked, they're probably going to send guys to help if they have people nearby. So these guys could, roll in to either assist with the base defense or try to retake the base. It's going to be a judgment call on you. And really, the most important thing. Okay, this isn't working out. We'll talk about that. So the AI is really fucky. It's going to be a judgment call on you. At the end of the day, we need to create a mission that is fun for the guys. We don't want to completely destroy them. We don't want to fucking having a bad time. So you need to find a balance when creating these missions of proportionality. You need to send a proportionate amount of forces that you think that our guys can deal with for the mission, generally speaking, and just make sure that they have fun. So we wouldn't want to spawn like 15 tanks up here, or like attack helicopters and send them after our 7 guys that we have in the field. But maybe they can take out an EMP and an infantry squad, and they deal with that, then maybe we can send a second one in
Вас
later.
понял.
Um,
Все ясно.
to make sure that they have a good time of doing it. Another thing that I want to add in here,
Все
again,
ясно.
this is kind of going to be a condensed episode with a lot of information, kind of rambling here, but you need to make sure when you're planning these missions that everyone is going to be able to have fun. So generally speaking, we have an infantry element and an aerial element. So when creating these missions, there are certain situations where the aerial element, the helicopter, could just come in, see this base, and destroy it, and then fly away completely on its own. That would, however, then leave the guys on the ground with having had no fun, basically. So, you're going to need to create objectives and opportunities and counters to allow both infantry and aviation to have fun. You know what I mean? We can't have all of the infantry guys killing all of the bad guys, or we can't have all of the air guys killing all the bad guys. We need to strike a balance between the two. Anyway, this kind of wraps up the dynamic style of mission, which is the second type of mission that I was talking about. Now, if we wanted to create an on-the-rails mission, we would give our guys very specific objectives like we want them to land here in the middle of this village. We're not going to tell them that there's an enemy base right here and an enemy base on top of the hill, or we are. We're going to tell them to land here, we're going to tell them to do this and do that. And no matter what, this QRF force is going to come down and attack our guys, in the village as they're landing or something like that. It's going to be an on-the-rails experience. It's going to be more like a movie, more like a TV show, a play. There's going to be a script to follow. You're going to have to tell your leader on the ground, this is what I want to happen. And you're going to make this judgment call because you either think that it's going to be a really fun experience for the guys, or you're trying to recreate something and you're telling them ahead of time. I'll have a more in-depth video on creating on the rails missions because there's a lot of cool scripts that we can do to create some really fun experiences. And anyway, this is going to go ahead and wrap up this little portion. I'll have some more detailed tutorials later on, but I hope you found this helpful. Thanks.